you haven't heard of Kitten's Joy, you haven't followed horse racing. He was the leading sire this year.
Kitten's Joy turned out to be the franchise on the farm. It stands for $100,000. And we've been turned a mare away this morning. We were a nice mare. We just booked full. So I guess you call that a real success story for Kitten's Joy, because he was leading sire in North America last year.
I know you're not all that interested in breeding horses for dressage, but to me it's pretty impressive. I mean, I look at pictures of Kitten's Joy and I drool when I look at the pictures. I've never even seen him in person. But when you watch this horse go, I mean, part of the whole story that we're trying to tell with this is that a good athlete's a good athlete in any sport, and a good racehorse is a good sport horse. So this horse didn't do a whole lot on the track, but Nuno Santos is riding him, and you know Nuno from when he was galloping, right?
Let me tell you the story on Ken's Kitten. We thought this was going to be a special horse, a superstar on the racetrack. However, it turned out he didn't want to run, so I had a stupid chance of down balls, and I already had the horse that you were called slip away for me, so we sent him to the Merle and down balls. And Tom put him through the paces, called out, and said, he won't jump. So I said, well, what are we going to do with him? So Tom said, well, I got Nuno Santos here, said, I know him real well, said he wants him. And he said, not too much money involved, said maybe you can squeeze $1,500, $2,000 out of him. And I said, well, I want to make sure he's not going to slaughter pen or something like that. He said, no, I know Nuno for a long time. He used to work with Bobby Frankel. So I said, look, he's all that good, just give him the horse. So Nuno got him at a bargain price of $0. And now he's worked his way up to a third level, so we're real pleased that he might become the poster boy for a horse that needs to be rehabilitated. Can't run, can't jump, and backs.
Nuno actually did teach this horse to jump. Maybe Tom Voss couldn't get him to jump, but Nuno took him out and invented him a little bit at novice, but he won the dressage by so much. Nuno's an ex-race guy himself. You know, he galloped race horses for a long time, 10 years, but he grew up in Portugal. He did a lot of dressage and jumping, and we've had a blast watching Nuno with this horse and another horse that he got from Darley for the Thoroughbred Makeover. So we're just going to let Nuno ride around here for the next 15 minutes and show off while Linda tells us what she thinks, and maybe Linda will give him a little advice.
Okay, Nuno.
And we also want to thank Ken and Nancy for actually paying to get this horse out of here.
All right, Nuno, why don't we just let him walk a little bit and let me talk about what I see to begin with, because again, sometimes the walk is not, that people do not spend enough time with the walk, and it's a very important part of the training of the horse. What I do like about him, he's very eye-catching, he's very attractive, and obviously the dressage is helping him in his muscle development because he's got quite a lot of strength in his hip and his hind leg. He carries his tail well, carries his tail above, out, and he carries it straight, which gives a judge the feeling that he's balanced. If you have a horse that carries the tail to the side, you might say he's stiff to one side, or he has a lot of discomfort, and is a sign that you should take a little more time to see, because the tail is a big indicator. One thing I do like about this horse is that when he walks, if you look, his hind legs really don't go out behind him when he walks. He steps up and under and he comes back, but you don't see the hocks out behind him and him losing the hind leg, and this is very good. When he did start and he did come in, the horse was a little tense, and because he was a little tense, he had a little double short step in front. This would be for a judge a sign of tension, but this is something very easy to get rid of. The horse, maybe now he's going to relax, but I would encourage Nuno to ride him a little lower and longer, not necessarily deep, not necessarily with his nose down behind the vertical, but encourage him to stretch into the top line so the horse has a clear, straight channel for the energy of the hind leg to come forward, so he swings both front legs freely forward to the drop of his nose. And if you watch him now, he does a pretty good job, and the walk is getting better. Don't you think, Nuno, he's a little more relaxed? So I would always encourage and a lot of people don't do it, but it's always very good to take and let the horse walk 10, 15 minutes before you even pick up the reins. A lot of people get on, they forget about the walk period end and never develop it. But the walk has double points in the test, and it shows and it gives the horse time to relax and stretch and use his entire top line and swing. So now I don't see that little short step in one front. Okay, that's just for everyone to see. And you can see he has purpose in his walk, and you see that he has a clear overstep and a clear rhythm, and very, very regular and balanced. Okay, Nuno, if you could take up the contact. So when you take up the contact, you want to keep the nose forward in front of the vertical. Do not want the horse to drop too deep and break off in the wrong vertebrae, but the highest point of his neck should be at the pole, behind his ears. A lot of times you see people riding too deep and break off that connection. And once the connection is lost, it's very hard to get. As well as sometimes they bring him up too high and the back drops and you lose the connection through the back. But this looks very nice, and the most important thing is, when you bring him up, to still hopefully let him swing through his shoulders. So when we're suppling a horse and bringing him up through the levels, we're always testing the horse's suppleness and creating a bend. Horse does not bend in his back. The horse only shows the bend through his shoulders. Okay? And that you should be riding the horse, his energy from his hind leg up to the opposite front leg, so he swings through his shoulders and the energy goes through the outside of the horse to the outside rein, because as you go up through the higher levels, it becomes more apparent that you ride with your outside rein that maintains the frame, and the outside rein rides the horse through all the levels. Inside rein only supples and relaxes, and the inside leg, it stays at the girth to push the shoulder to the outside rein, and hence you have the natural bend and suppleness of the horse. So we want to go ahead and trot. And it's very important, a lot of times with horses that are worked, you have to make sure you want to see them up off the inside shoulder and moving to the outside rein. At the same time, you don't want to see a horse that bends its neck too much off the front of the horse, of his shoulders, because that too will take him out of balance. So Nuno, I would just go ahead, rising trot, and just ride him a little straighter and let him trot. So when the rider is doing the rising trot, he should use his inside leg to pick up that energy of the inside to encourage the horse to go forward to the outside, so he swings up and through to the outside ear. Okay, Nuno, can you allow him to go a little bit more forward? When you're riding, Nuno, you're tending to sit to the outside. You want to sit a little bit more in the center. Keep your inside hip and rib cage a little more forward than your outside to allow the horse through it. You must allow him through the inside. You must ride with the outside. And that's true with the jumping over the fences as well. This looks better. Now, can you go ahead and go across the diagonal? I don't care about your diagonal, what you're posting on, but I like to encourage him just to go forward and stretch a little bit more forward to the hand and swing more in the back. There. Now for me, now this is where I'd like to see the horse start. There. Now Nuno, you slow down your shoulders, put your hands down and let the horse move. There you go. And see, when he does that, to me, that looks good. I would give that a good score. So again, you want to have him up and you want to have him forward, but you can't lift him up with your hands. Your hands are only their connection between your elbow and the horse's mouth to get him the confidence to go to your hand, and you want his whole body and hind leg to swing up and through and take his back over to your hand. So the impression is not that the rider is containing and drawing the horse back to the body, but it's the rider sits up and goes with the horse in his body. Your hands down, Nuno. There. Now, for me, not more than that. Now this horse is really moving. Now this horse, in my opinion, has energy in the hind legs. Now, Nuno, for me, to make this where I want it for your next level, because I say, not any faster, You got to take your reins just a little shorter, a little lower, not to hold more, but to have a little better connection. The longer your reins are, the harder your aids are. And I just want you to slow your shoulders down, but allow the energy to come through. Ho, and give with your hands. And see, then you get the cadence. Everyone see that? That was pretty good. Very good, Nuno. So hands down. Energy through your legs to your hands. Shoulders, hold, control, and collect. Energy inside leg, hands down, shoulders slow down. Hands down, your shoulders hold, control. Your hands down, inside leg, and then give. I like this. I don't want a shoulder to the neck. You okay with this, Nuno? Cross the diagonal, looking pretty good. But don't let your reins get longer, because one starts to think about your hands, and we shouldn't see your hands, we should see his feet, right? That's right. So you stay up on top. Now, I'm very happy with this, because as the horse is warming up, so now, Nuno, just show them. If you pick up with the energy a little bit with your inside leg, keep your inside rib cage going to his outside ear. See, when you go this way, you fall off to the left. When you go to the right, you go out of balance for me. You have to step more into your right leg, Nuno. Now get off your right hand. Now, give. Step right, give with your right hand. Slow down your left shoulder. And give with your right hand. Give. Hold with your body. Give. That's it. There, that's better. You with me? Do you understand what I'm saying, Nuno? You okay? No, he said? Oh. Oh God, he doesn't like what I'm saying. Across the diagonal. Very good. Hands down. Allow the horse to swing. So he uses his shoulders. Give. 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 Now, I don't know if any of you saw it, but there was a really good moment, because when he put his hands down and gave, the hind leg came right up under, and he had 2 strides, and really good, but still allowing the horse to flow forward. And there, give with your hands. Now, hind leg, give with your hands. Hind leg, there. Now, see, now the horse for me is getting more cadence. You okay, Nuno? All right, now let's go ahead, sit, and then canter. I love where his head and neck is. It looks third level to me. Nothing in the front is held back. Your shoulders control him and keep him back over the hind leg, not your hand, okay? So be very, very careful, because you don't want him to hesitate in one front leg and not the other, or then they're going to go after you with low scores. Your hands down. Okay, now you can do a small circle. I think he's doing very well. I would not like to see the head and neck and shoulder any shorter. You've got to keep more length in front of your position. You have to think 2/3 of the horse is in front of you, and then you're sitting on the back third. You've got to get off your inside rein and step to the left, because you're falling to the outside. Very good. Now we should see a 3-beat canter. He has a little So, you need to ride him down the long side, slightly flex him to the right, pick up your left rib cage and push him, flex slightly right, so it opens up his left shoulder, so it will have a truer canter. In other words, he's stopping in his front, so you're getting a little double step in behind. There. Now, but see, when you bent him right, the canter got better. Does everyone see that? Because now, in fact, he's riding him straighter. And a horse isn't going to have the true quality and regularity of his gait if he's not straight. So we work on regularity, suppleness, straightness, with impulsion to get collection. So now, he's straight. That means that the shoulders are straight. That means the horse is jumping through and he gets a better canter. And a lot of times you see riders are always slightly flexing them to the inside, thinking they're riding a shoulder forward, but at the same time, if they're not careful, and if they shut down the inside of their position, that'll draw the inside of the horse back, that, instead of allowing the inside of the horse to go forward to the outside rein to get the ground cover. Cross the diagonal and flying change. But I like the canter now. Can you live with it, Nuno? Okay. Guess you're going to have to, right? You're doing great. And you change? Great. Okay. Now, it was very straight and very through, and I think you did a very good job. I would like to see you use less inside rein, only because, again, the inside rein doesn't ride the horse. It supples the horse, and it momentarily shows direction, but it doesn't ride the horse. So when you pull up your inside rein, you are then slowing down the flow and the forwardness of the horse. So again, you've got to just get yourself a little bit more zoned in to ride with your outside aids and just supple it with the inside, but not riding with the inside. But again, we as dressage judges are looking for the quality, and with the quality and the straightness, we get the collection, and that builds up the top line and his strength to carry himself over his hind leg. Good. Okay, walk. Another thing, see now when he was down, when you flexed him to the right, his canter got better again. So you understand why I told you that? Now the canter's good, and he doesn't have that little tension because of them not being straight. In the canter, before I let him do his demonstration, I just want you all to know in the canter, the most important part of the horse's body is his ability to lift up and down his spine behind the saddle into his back croup. And you're not going to have a good canter if that's tension and drop, but they should be picking up evenly up and down, and that's very important on getting the good quality of the horse and be able to go in the higher levels. Okay, Nuno, your demonstration?
So Nuno brought this horse out at third level at the recognized show at Morgan Park a couple of weeks ago and won one class and was second in the other. Only warm blood competing, only thoroughbred competing, of course. Beat all the warm bloods. And he's had him for just about 2 years, I understand. I don't know about you all, but this horse turns me on. I just relish watching him progress because he's still young. He's just turned 7. He's had 2 years of doing this. He's obviously got movement and ability to do some higher level movements. Not that I would know, but maybe Linda would give us her opinion on whether she thinks this horse has some potential to move up. But I think we should keep an eye on this horse in Nuno, and he really does to me prove that the very top racing bloodlines in America are still producing the best athletes, and they can do absolutely anything, including dance. So thank you, Nuno.